What is nonverbal group ability test? Nonverbal assessments can be performance tests that enable the subject to do something, such as draw, solve maze problems, or paper and pencil tests that include written, nonverbal objects and guide the subject to choose the best of two or more multiple choice answers. Without using words, certain nonverbal group tests can be administered. Nonverbal reasoning is a general concept that encompasses a broad range of measures of psychometric ability, such as inductive, logical, abstract, diagrammatic, and spatial reasoning. Inductive reasoning test, sometimes referred to as logical or abstract reasoning test, measure the ability of an individual to consider patterns, interactions between various elements, and data inconsistencies. And this type of tests are intended to assess the abstract reasoning ability of an individual and their ability to see patterns and consistencies, and to deal with new information flexibility. Usually, inductive reasoning problems include a variety of graphs or images. The individual must identify the pattern, rule, or relation between the item and then use it to pick the next item in the sequence. For diagrammatic test, as you can see, I am entering in some sort of a site, and these are the examples of diagrammatic test. So diagrammatic test for reasoning can be a little different. They can also enable you to understand a flowchart, figure out the rules it uses, and then use them to answer the question instead of presenting it with merely abstract problems. On the other hand, in spatial awareness, it tests individuals' ability to comprehend shapes in different dimensions and configurations. The question includes reflection, rotation, or images of flat shapes, which the individual has to imagine in 3D. And when it comes to selection and evaluation methods, nonverbal reasoning assessments are used widely, since they do not rely on particular language abilities instead of learned abilities. They are seen as a helpful way to test individuals' raw skill. As people measure the ability of individuals to adapt to new circumstances and are associated with abstract intelligence, if the individual does better on a nonverbal reasoning exam, the more likely they are to be able to solve a new issues in workplace objectively and creatively. Nonverbal reasoning tests are designed to assess the ability of a person to problem solve and interpret visual information. These tests are not independent on knowledge of technology or business, language, or mathematical abilities, but simply the analytical capacity of a person. On the other hand, when it comes to nonverbal intelligence, it defines thinking abilities and problem solving skills that do not fundamentally require the development and understanding of verbal language. This type of intelligence requires visual information manipulation or problem solving and can differ in the amount of internalized, abstract, or logical thinking and motor skills needed to complete a task. And when it comes to question forms of nonverbal test, it is posed visually, asking the individual to make sense of a diagram or a pattern and using logic to solve the problem, such as finding the missing object by carrying out a logic pattern in a diagram in matrix form, trying to establish a set of rules in diagram from a series of inputs and outputs, then applying those rules to a new sequence where data is missing. looking at shapes or patterns and analyzing what comes next. Visualize a 3D form or function, or working with mirror images or reflection. Finding out cube nets or what shapes, when folded, look like. And when it comes to nonverbal intelligence, it is the ability to use visual or hands-on logic to analyze knowledge and solve problems. In other terms, without actually using words, it is the capacity to make sense of the world and act on it.